Okay, so, hello darlings, Natalia Rene here. Continuing from August 11th, 2022, it's about to be the 12th because it is 11:45 p.m. So, I think one important thing to mention before I start is that the universe is like a mirror in that whatever intentions or action that you outwardly partake in will be reflected in you, like, hands down. So if you aggressively, with frustration, are trying to access creativity, like I've been trying to write for months, unable to break the damn creativity, right? That in mind, the second that I stopped, was present, and then made this video and started the process of discussing things with others, suddenly doors open up, paths open up in ways that I can't explain. So the mirror universe, in that whatever your intentions or actions are, the world and will reflect that. I mean, there's no other way to say it. And you know, this is something, at least for me, I experiment with this process often. I test my own thinking and assimilation of information by pushing the boundaries. If I'm gonna go, okay, so let's say I decide to go out and go to the store. Well, what I'll do is I will specifically change my time and maybe specifics like budget. I'll change them in a way that I wouldn't usually do in order to see, do I still manifest my reality? In that I noticed everyone's happy around me. I always am in touch with people that think similarly. Suddenly this has become pervasive. So I push the buttons, see if I can test the boundaries and the limits to see, okay, if I change my habits and routines, will it then have the same people around? And it does, over and over. You're resonating a certain frequency in your biochemical neurology. The actual chemical level of your blood cells are so different that you're resonating a different tone than you were before. And I find that my environment keeps telling me that. So, you know, starting off with being awake and aware and kind of hacking the dream, realizing that if any of you lucid dream, you know that once you realize you're in the dream, you can then do whatever you want in the dream. And it's kind of the same with our reality, our three-dimensional, awake, conscious reality. And yeah, so be awake, be aware, hack the dream, hack the matrix. It's totally doable, including, you know, manifesting abundance personally makes a difference because the world is crazy right now. But if you manifest abundance, then suddenly your budget always works. You're never worried about supply and demand, you know, those kind of concepts that seem so cornerstone to reality suddenly are manipulatable, able to be manipulated. Interesting, fascinating. You know, and I think it's important for me to say that before any of these realizations, before different work, chakra work, different spiritual knowledge pursuits, I was a business owner, entrepreneur at heart, and everything was logic, straight, rational mind all the time, and none of this. If I heard myself say this 2 years ago, I would say, you're crazy. But not with the way things have gone. So I wanted to, in this specific video, talk about people that have come to me in the last week about different things going on in their lives, and then how my realizations, my chakra opening, my personal healing methods have opened my realization what my power is. So once you have your 8th chakra, your 9th, and your 10th, you start realizing that and accessing different skills that you may have from previous existences. You're tapping into different parts of yourself at some point in your life. Or lives. So for me, there's the water, earth, or water, wind, earth, fire. Okay, so you have your 4 cardinal earth realm power energies, and I identify that my specific energy is electricity. Now, my family line has a lot of history of energetic responses with electricity, but I'm finding that my devices will not cooperate. There's a conscious, it seems like a conscious effort to not let me do things. Things like Facebook, shut down. Accounts, shut down suddenly. They just disappear. Internet, go down if I decide to post a video. Which is why, when I discussed with the unlikely channeler, she was willing to let me do it on hers. Because over and over, the issue persisted. To the point where I could not get these videos out. Or anything that I tried, even my blog or statuses on things, it would not allow me to send it out. It's just trippy. Now, I had one friend recently called me, and he's getting flashes of memory that are not his own. So he was in Tennessee, and he went to a Civil War memorial, and suddenly he said he was getting visualizations and flashes and downloads of people dying and being in that moment, in that time and space of war, which I find very interesting, because he is a warrior, physical warrior. He's a fighter. So it's interesting that his proclivities, his tendency towards being a warrior, manifested in his visualizations of past people's existences within war. Another friend he noticed that him and everyone at work, everyone around him is noticing things moving, things off the shelves falling, and I'm sure a lot of us have been dealing with that. Him specifically, I said, hey, stop and talk to it. Like, see if it's something, someone, something, or if it's you doing this. Because I wouldn't doubt it. Another friend of mine said, hey, I'd like to practice my astral projection, and I swear I felt him right here before I knew it was crazy. And I've dealt with negative energies before. Demons is what I call them, because when I was younger, it was a consistent effort of battling off these entities and energies, and I didn't always have the strength or the spiritual wisdom to fight them off. So I've dealt with some negative energies, and I keep my space so incredibly sacred that I knew it wasn't something evil. I knew it was someone or something, especially mentioning that he specifically said, hey, there's a certain feeling I get when an angel's near me, or whatever, like I feel brushing on my whatever. And the second before he told me that he was there through text, I felt that same sensation. So clearly it was kind of a reach out from an astral body. Crazy, dude. So this is just interesting, because all these individual people I've known for many years, and never has this concept or anything spiritual or anything of mystical nature ever come up in conversation with any of them. And suddenly they're coming to me with these crazy things. So I just found that very interesting, and I think everyone should stop and identify what is their power. Mine is electricity, and including dealing with the entities in the unseen world. I call them egregors. Okay? And if you look up what an egregor is a thought form. Okay? So when humanity collectively, or an individual or a group, puts enough thought into something, they create and manifest a being to reflect that. Okay? The internet and anything within this realm of technology, it's the superhighway for the traveling of these egregors and entities. I found that I definitely have spiritual psychic attacks through my devices. Okay? I mean, they're so clearly, I would call them scalar wave attacks, because they throw me into neurological shutdown and crash, and I go into these weeks of sickness. Crazy. So the egregors, the entities, the thought forms that exist on the unseen superhighway of technology, I found that I'm able to shut them down, stop them in their tracks, and then all my devices work. So, yeah, I mean, it's really interesting. I think everyone should identify what is their superpower. And honestly, reach out to me. I will do a little consultation with you, because everyone seems to want to ask me, so I have no problem having a discussion about it, and it helps. So, oh, it's just amazing. So, there you go. Everyone, enjoy.